a suit and tie and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
We have a really good one. David Whiting, well-known Melbourne solicitor who's been answering your questions for free for many, many years now. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Virginia.
What's happening? Have we got some homework from last week?
No, we were homework free.
That's because
we've all been paying attention to the election. So
and you were
yes.
too good as well.
Well, just that week I was, yes. I've been watching and I've been slipping, so we'll just try and be better behaved.
Any news to share?
No, life is quiet at the moment.
Okay. Oh, well, all right. Well, let's make it noisy, shall we?
Okay.
A bit busy. The lines are full, which is great to see.
I do have a weird story out of the UK.
Okay.
And it's against lawyers, so you can take it as you like.
I'm enjoying it already.
Okay. A particular law firm in the UK was providing advice to a firm that was being investigated by the Serious Fraud Office.
Oh.
The partner at the firm who was involved in the work, advising the company, provided additional information to the Times and the Serious Fraud Office that expanded the scope of the investigation against the company, as a result of which the firm billed £17 million more in legal fees. So
that bill wasn't paid, was it?
Well, these are we're some years down the track when the truth begins to come out, and
right.
So it was an action decided last week in the High Court in the UK about was an action by the company to get some money back from the law firm. So just £17 million of extra fees, extraordinary amount of money.
It's just remarkable, isn't it? I mean, you don't think anyone in there in that law office feels just a twinge of guilt or
well, that's the pressure of
discomfort?
budgets, is it not?
Yeah. Billable hours.
Yep.
All right, no billable hours here. The hours are free, so let's use it wisely. 1300 222 774. Meryl in Box Hill South, go ahead.
Right. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for taking my call, as everybody says. I was wondering about, I had I don't know which end to start with, because I think it ends up with claiming money by deception.
Start with briefly what happened and then get to a question about what help you need.
Well, I went into a petrol station to fill up my car. There was a woman on the other side. I had to move my car because she was so far over I couldn't get the petrol thingy out. Reversed around, and I think I slightly touched this car she was driving with my wing mirror.
Yep.
We both looked at it, couldn't see anything. She was in a dark grey car, which she said belonged to a friend of hers who was a panel beater who was fixing up her own car at the time.
Yes.
So she said, if you don't hear from me in 2 weeks' time,
don't worry about
fine.
it. Yep.
2 years later,
yes,
I get a letter from somebody where she's written up and said, I damaged her car, caused thousands of dollars worth of damage. There's pages and pages of stuff, and the car that she's claiming for is a white car. Now, I would have had to be driving down the freeway very fast to have hit the back of her car and done all this, in which case I probably would have killed myself.
That's a great story.
I would probably have killed myself.
Yes.
Certainly severely damaged my car.
We get the point. Meryl, did you take
Did
you take photographs of the car that you're said to have damaged in that moment, the grey one? Did you take a photo?
No, I didn't.
No, I don't know that I would have either.
I'm going to get Dave to jump in here. I think
Meryl, here's my first question. Can you prove you were somewhere else other than at the place on the day and time that the accident she claims exists occurred?
Well, I'd never seen her or
No, different question. It might be from the telephone records, it might be from your diary, it might be from your credit card statement that you were able to establish you were somewhere else.
She didn't actually say in this thing what date it was or anything. It was just that I had done this damage to her car. I rang up the insurance company, said it's not my fault, this is all story.
Not as it's not my fault, I wasn't there. It wasn't my car.
Yes.
Meryl, I would be, if you've given it to your insurance company as a report, that's great, but I wouldn't be making a claim at this stage. I would be going back to the other driver and get her to fix the day, the time and the place that the accident occurred. And
Well-
then you start the process of confirming or getting evidence that it couldn't have been you because.
Well, the thing is, I rang the insurance company to say that she'd done this, and they said, send us the forms in, we'll go through it. Then it turned out that this person was a wimp who was dealing with it and who said she's got this really top-notch barrister and he wins all his cases. I said, I want to go to court because she's not telling the truth. Anyway, he didn't get back to me. Months later, they paid out $6,000 to this woman, and none of it's true.
Then I suppose you could go to the police and make a claim of a false report of an accident, but presumably she's made a claim. I'd be going back to your insurer and asking for a copy of the file so that you can go through where I started, when did the accident occur and at what time and at what place, so that you can follow that through. If you're making a police complaint, that's where I'd start.
All right. Good luck with that, Meryl. What an amazing story. That is bold as brass, isn't it, David?
I think that happens a lot.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Again, how do you sleep at night with stuff like this? I just don't get it. Max in Paran, go ahead. How can we help?
Hi. So I'm renting a property in South Yarra, and my front door to the property is not fire compliant.
Yes.
I'm a locksmith. I'm aware of this. I'm also aware that the person who I'm renting off owns a lot of the other apartments in the building that I'm in.
Yes.
Now, I've sent them an email letting them know that's not fire compliant. I mentioned that there was a fire in New York a couple of months ago where lots of people died for the same reason.
Yes.
And they've said that they're not going to do anything about it.
Then you can, if you want to do something about it, you can go to VCAT. There's a couple of things you could look at. You might, I'm not sure whether it's the fire brigade or the council, but you would be telling, and also the building surveyor who certified the building as being fit for occupation. You might go to the Victorian Building Authority and say that the building surveyor certified the building as fit for occupation when it wasn't. You might also complain to the council about the fire issue. The other thing, but in my mind, both of those will result in an order that perhaps you leave the property because the property's not fit for occupation. The other thing that you might do would be go to VCAT to require that works be done in your property to make them compliant.
The issue with the fire compliance is the whole reason your apartment door is fire compliant is if you start a fire, it doesn't spread to everyone else.
Yes. Yep.
So it's not so much an issue for my safety, it's an issue for everybody else's safety. And if he owns multiple apartment buildings, then that becomes an issue for my safety.
Or multiple apartments in the building. Yes, I understand the issue. They're the ways that you might resolve it. If you're concerned more about other people than you, then I would suggest that you go to the Victorian Building Authority about the certification. You might also talk to the council about that a certificate of occupancy should not have issued for the building because.
Okay,
Right.
Good luck with that, and we hope that works. Cedric in Watsonia, go ahead.
Good morning. I'm relative of mine who police have previously at least informally suggested is vulnerable, has been victim of an identity theft SMS scam. My basic question is, how do I go about getting whatever requirement the police issue, which would allow me to get a change of or allow her to get a change of driver's license number, then get the bank to put security onto her bank account and all the other people who won't move until you get a police
So Cedric,
report.
what you want to do is go to Vic Roads and say, I want my licence cancelled and I want a new licence issued with a new number.
Done that, and they won't do a thing until they have a request from police or a court order or various other things.
So has there been a report made to the police about identity theft?
Yes.
And have they given you a report that says they're satisfied that there was an identity theft?
To two different police stations seem to be handling it somewhat differently. One's just refused to do it. I spoke to a tax office yesterday because it was this phishing thing purported to be a tax come from the ATO.
Yep.
And the tax office advice is that the various police forces in Australia treat this sort of thing quite differently. Some states require a court order. Some states, the police will initiate the action
Can I say,
themselves.
I'm fascinated by the question. I'll give you an answer next week about what the process is and how you make the report and what the timeframes ought to be.
Do you know what the state requirement is here in Victoria?
No, never come. Well, it's an interesting approach. I've heard of lots of and seen cases of identity theft. I hadn't thought about. I want a new licence with a new number.
Well, that's right, and how you actually go about doing that. Okay, so that's homework for next week, so do tune in next week, Cedric. I hope we can help you then. Ashley in Berwick, go ahead.
Hi, David. Virginia. We've got a friend, good friend of ours, who's been going through a divorce for over 5 years, and the husband...
Sorry, can I ask, Ashley, we talk about the divorce or the property settlement?
Well, the property settlement.
Okay, because the divorces are fairly straightforward.
Yes, now that's gone through. It's the property settlement, and he keeps filibustering, even to the extent of there was a previous inheritance that he was holding off on, which was worth, 6-digit figures.
Yes,
and he was holding off on the basis that it would spite his ex by not processing the will or the some share trading that had to happen.
Yep.
So he's being quite obstructionist. But she's been advised she has no choice other than to go to court with it.
Well, in the event that two people can't reach an agreement, you go to court to resolve the issue. That's the purpose of the court system, is to step in when people can't do a deal.
I know.
What's your expectation?
Well, I would have thought there would be an ability to set a timeline that said, you must respond by this date, otherwise...
Oh, yes, you can go and get what are called procedural orders that put timeframes for doing A and B and C, but in the event that you ultimately don't reach an outcome by agreement, that's what court's for.
So they'll probably end up in court at this stage. It's been going on long enough,
all but guaranteed.
This from Joanne in Berwick, David. Vic Roads will not cancel or issue a new licence unless fraud has actually occurred, not if it may occur. I had the same issue, says Joanne in Berwick.
Okay.
So do you get some documentation from the police saying, yes, does that come in the form of a bit of paper?
Don't know. That's the homework question.
That's the homework. All right, we'll find out for you. Fiona in Hawthorne. Go ahead, Fiona.
Hi, I had a car accident as a victim, and the police have been involved and they want to prosecute the other driver. I want to change my statement because I've given them the wrong colour of the other car. I was just wondering, is that possible?
Yes, it's not. You can't change a statement. You can provide a supplementary statement. The other thing that you need to be clear on, Fiona, in the event that this goes to court, is that you need to be able to explain how you now know you got the colour wrong. All right. Okay. Because if you've been provided with information, because if I was putting you in the witness box, that would be my attempt to discredit you and that you're having a second go. So you have to make it clear, and I mean clearly in terms of the quality of the statement you give, the colour of the car may be important, but you need to be able to explain how you now know what the colour was.
The TAC gave me her name and I found her details online. And
you drove past the house and saw the car?
No, there's a photo of her with her car online.
How do you know it's the same car?
Yeah, I don't. Oh, it's the same make, model, but I don't know it's the same colour.
Okay, I would be reluctant to change your statement because the information that you've got isn't a better recollection. You now want to make it a bit stronger than it was because you think you got the last one wrong. I think that says all the wrong things, Fiona. What you might do is tell the police that you've ghosted this woman. You've actually tracked her down. You've seen a picture of your car, and you think that the colour of the car in the Facebook page is the right one, but whatever you do, don't change your statement.
Fiona, will leave that one with you. It's a bit of a challenge. Good luck. Chris in Heathmont. This is an interesting question for a lawyer. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, yes, good morning. Thanks for taking my question. I and a few neighbours in the area have an issue with a barking dog.
Yes.
That is quite loud and ferocious during the day. Now, we've had this problem for about 6 months now, and a few of us have tried to approach the neighbour to discuss it. He's been very dismissive of it, so we tried in December and January. He got a bit rude and said some choice words to us, so then we decided to get council involved. Council came out and spoke with him on numerous occasions, sat out the front of his house, listened to it. They put some recording devices on my property because I'm the closest for a week.
I might try and lead you to the upshot. What's the ultimate question here?
I've hit a brick wall. Council have issued him with a notice of compliance. He has not complied.
Okay.
Council have taken more recordings, but have not been clear as to what the next steps will be. They've said that they are not going to issue an infringement notice.
Well, then you're not going to get anywhere, hey, Chris.
That's it.
Absent an infringement notice.
This is the brick wall that I've hit. So
Okay.
Well,
Listen to
no,
David.
then the answer is that you issue an application in the Magistrates Court for a permanent injunction to restrain the noise. Now, that can be you as the plaintiff, or it can be you and all your neighbours as plaintiffs.
How successful are they normally, David?
They're very successful because,
Yeah.
remember, we've got the council records.
Right.
We go to council and say, I want the details of the recordings. I want evidence of volume and frequency.
Right.
And you go along and say it's a continuing nuisance. It's affecting my enjoyment of my property because of the unreasonable noise.
How much would that cost, roughly?
I would have thought a day in the Magistrates Court, 10 grand.
10 grand to get the dog quiet, Chris?
absolutely, it is driving me
Okay.
and some neighbours spare. And I've said this to lots of people. I said, I don't care how much money I have to throw at this.
Right.
Don't tell your lawyer that, Chris.
No, don't tell your lawyer.
Don't tell your lawyer that, Chris. But, Chris, what I would be doing is the more plaintiffs you've got, the stronger your claim is. So I would be suggesting that you get other people on board, not just as supporting witnesses, but as co-plaintiffs.
Chris, good luck.
Okay.
Nice to hear from you. Thanks so much. Anthony in Glen Iris, go ahead.
Oh, good morning. My car was deemed a total loss by my insurance company after it was written off by a council tree. It was insured for market value. I put in a claim with my insurance company.
Can I just jump in there? Sorry. Did the council tree fall on it?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was insured for market value. The insurance company came back with an offer of $22,400, which I felt was well under market value.
Yes.
I rejected that offer. They reluctantly referred it back to the assessor, who then came back with an offer the next day of $24,329.10.
Yes.
I still insisted it was under market value.
Yes.
They said that's the best we can do. If you want to take it further, take it to AFCA, which I did, and it was deemed by AFCA yesterday after a preliminary assessment that they side with AAI. My question, I guess, is what is market value? What dictates market value? Because they've gone by industry publications, which are inaccurate at the moment because of the lack of demand of second-hand cars.
So when did that start? I thought there was an absolute...
In October. It happened on October the 29th.
No, not the accident, but the demand for second-hand cars has gone through the roof because of the lack of supply of new ones.
Totally, yes.
So that's improved. I would be looking at car sites, car sales
I've done all that and submitted. I have done all that and submitted advertisements. The insurance company, I guess they've opted to rely on industry publications, which at the moment are totally inaccurate. And,
Anthony, you need to prove evidence of a different market value, and we're not talking about a car that you might buy from a dealer with a warranty. You're talking about a car that doesn't have a warranty and is sold privately. That's the source of the evidence. And you would need, what's on the balance of probabilities, what's the likely value of the car?
Okay, we'll have to leave that one with you. And we can fit in one, maybe two more before we finish up today. Alex in Collingwood, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I went to the football last Saturday night to the Richmond Essendon game.
So were you pleased or disappointed, Alex?
I was very pleased with the outcome, but I'd like to sue the umpires for negligence, but I'm not going to go down that path.
We did that. We covered that off yesterday. We'll have to keep moving forward.
All right. I'll be quick to the point.
Yep.
I was refused when I was making purchases for pies and things to use cash. I had to use a card.
Yes.
I thought cash was legal tender.
It is, but only if the debt arises. At law, what happens... So you go into a supermarket, for example, and you pick up an item, you take it to the checkout counter or to the counter, and at that stage what the law says is you are making an offer to purchase. Mm. And so it's called an offer to purchase. There's no contract at that stage, and only and they're making a condition of the contract that if I accept your offer, you have to pay by card. So there's no obligation to pay. There's no contract at the time you take your pie and chips and your water. So the answer is they've set the rules before you buy.
So they don't have to take the cash?
No, they don't.
Okay, that's it, Alex. They don't have to.
Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Let's just very quickly, if we can. Oh, it's naughty of me. But Dean in Sandringham, you really have to be short. Go ahead.
Quickly, Dean.
Dean, can you go ahead? No.
Oh, hello. Yes, hello, Virginia and Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Dean, I've got to tell you, you've got to be really, really tight. So let's get to the point quickly if you can. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, there's a subsidence issue out the front of my mother's place. It's sewer infrastructure for a whole group of units, 30 units, but there's subsidence happening around the sewer, and the council doesn't want to touch it. South East Water doesn't want to touch it, and the body corporate's been told that if there's any damage to the infrastructure, then it's their fault.
Yes, I agree with that.
And they've said that if we don't agree to a fix, which is just paving over the top of it, that they want us to agree to that, and then any further subsidence is our responsibility as the owner, even though the sewer is for everybody. We don't want to agree to it.
Dean, it's likely dependent upon who the sewer pipe services. If it's the whole of the unit, then it's the owner's corporation problem. And I would have thought merely filling in the subsidence isn't going to solve the problem. You probably need to see whether there's an issue with the pipes.
Okay, and we hope that helps. David, always good to see you. See you next week.
See you then.
David Whiting there. Bit of homework, so come back and listen next week and we can fill in some of the blanks.